Hi, Pisces. This is Jeffrey. This is Ripecolor. This is your reading for 2023. I'm so proud of myself because so many times when I do the videos, I always mess up like the name of the month or the year. But so far, so good. All right. Please like, subscribe, share, comment, press the bell for notifications. So I'm doing these late at night. And I can't figure out the rhythm of the building. I just can't figure. I'm new to the building. Sometimes it's loud in the afternoon, sometimes it's loud at night. And I thought, oh, it'd be quieter at night. Anyway, there's in the front of the building, they have 3, maybe 4 dogs. I don't know. And it's 2 German Shepherds and a Husky that I know of, right? And there's 1 Husky and 1 German Shepherd that are as chill can be. And there's one who just greets you. Anyway, he was greeting whoever was on the street just a little while ago. And when I go to the roof, because I have to go outside of that thing and then go upstairs, and then I go to the roof, he's always. And instead of being upset with him, which would be my normal, I was like, Buenos tardes, buenos tardes. And then he just calms right down. He just wants a little attention. And I think that's the message. It's like sometimes, we have this like voice in our head that's like really loud and really maybe annoying and maybe even negative, screaming in a way. Acknowledge it and move on. Like acknowledge it and move on because it gets quiet. But if you fight it, it's just going to make it louder. Might even bite you. He's probably the kind of dog that doesn't bite, the ones who bark a lot sometimes don't bite. Sometimes. All right. I think it's about quieting that voice. I think that's what it's about. It's about quieting that voice, that like that angry voice, that resentful voice, that like come down this road with me, like it's kind of like sometimes you have a friend or somebody in your life, I would say, if it's a friend, and like all they want to do is call and talk about everybody else. And it's like, I don't really want to talk about everybody else. I'd rather talk about me or things or, I don't really have the time for this to just sit around and, point fingers at everybody. It doesn't really announce anything and it doesn't make me feel good. All right. Mm-hmm. 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 I begin with the Hermit. And the Hermit is your opposite card. I always find it really interesting when the opposites come. Because I always feel like the opposites are really one energy. Pisces, Virgo, what an interesting, because they're both so fascinating in and of themselves. They really are. Some certain signs are not as interesting in all humility. I'm not going to name them because that would be gossip. I'll lose my names. I'm a Virgo rising, and I'm a Scorpio. So I think I really understand both Pisces and Virgo, It's such a fascinating card. So the Hermit seeks knowledge. And what the Hermit seeks knowledge of is the self. That's what the Hermit is seeking. The Hermit is trying and will succeed in uncovering the light of that you are. Like that's what the Hermit's really about. That's what the Hermit's really about. And then I have the Five of Cups. So the Five of Cups is, I mean, basically, it's kind of a card of grief. It's a card of grief, of depression. But the thing is, it's a five. And the fives are really interesting because five is change. I know that light is really weird. I think I need one of those lights. I had two and they already broke. So I need another one. There's another light. I'm surrounded by light, you see, just like we all are. The Five of Cups has a choice. The Five of Cups can, be in this remorseful, grief-stricken. And you know what? I'm not saying that there's anything. What did you discover in the grief? What did you discover in the grief? And now that you've discovered it in a meticulous fashion, because that's what Virgo is all about, and felt it completely, it's time to move through it. It's time to let it go. It's time to become the other fish, right? And pick up what you do have left and make it work. Make it into something beautiful. Make it into something fulfilling. And, this is sometimes Michael. Well, it's always Michael, Archangel Michael, not Michael that lives up the street from you. Michael has really clear direction and really clear Michael can help you cut out what no longer serves you. So I think you've gone deep, 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 right? And you know what the grief is. And it's like, okay, it's time for a change. It's time to re-experience joy. And Michael can help you to cut out the grief. Yeah, because that is what self-nurturing is about. That is what self-care is about. That's what fertility is about. It's time to plant new seeds. Yeah. And, you might be really upset that structures are not what they were. And I have news for you. Structures are not going to be what they were. Pluto, Capricorn, Pluto moving into Aquarius, structures are just not going to, the family is different, jobs are different, the government's different, everything's different. Personal relate, it's all different. And, it's to sit and lament about, oh, if only things, if only, it's like we have to get into the reality of what it is today and work with what we have. Like that's the gift, that's the opportunity, because to keep on going back to, oh, if only, it just doesn't, it's not based in reality. Yeah. And that's when the clarity comes through, and that's when the nourishment comes through, by living in the here and now and not living in the past and the lamentation of the past. Because it's over and a new energy is coming. A new energy toward happiness and fulfillment. How's that? And oh, but I was at this job for like this many years, or I had this relationship with a friend or with a lover for this many years, and now it's over and it's changed. I know, but maybe better things are to come. Maybe better things are to come. If I choose, I could go down a road of, oh, my life in New York, and oh, if only I were 20 years old, oh, or I can live in the abundance of now. I can live in the abundance of now. And I'm always, I always have the choice about which way to go. And you're Pisces, so you have that duality thing going on. You have that mutable thing going on. So it's really about watching where you go. And then, when that dog is barking, metaphorically, it's like, buenas tardes, buenas tardes, pero. And then, I acknowledge that it's there, but I don't fight it. And I don't try to make it something other than what it is. And, that, acknowledge and move forward, right? Let it wash through you. Let it wash through you. I actually, in a certain way, I think you're better at that than the other water signs, because both Cancer and Scorpio have the claws. And it's like they don't really like to let go. They really don't like to let go. Cancer is always avoiding conflict. So it's like, oh, well, I'll hang on to this thing. And Scorpio has that, from what I've heard, could, hold a grudge forever and ever, like forever and ever. And, honestly, as a Scorpio, it takes me a long time to be done with something. But when I'm done, it never existed. It just never existed. It's a cross between Glenn Close and Dangerous Liaisons and Norma Desmond. It's like, so I think you have the actually more immutable ability to like let it wash over. That was a season and now is a new season. So I think there's going to be a lot of that for you this year, a lot of this. I'm having this feeling and it's going to change into that feeling. It's okay. It's okay. Just understand that, it's a wave and it'll go to shore and then it won't be a wave anymore. I think you're going to get a clarity about that and an understanding of cycle of that. I never interpreted it like that, but that's what I think is going on. And that's what the 5 is. The 5 is a choice. The 5 I know has changed, but I always feel like it's a choice. It's a choice of perspective. It's a choice of perspective. Am I going to be in that, emotional, like, oh, what I lost? Or, am I going to, pick myself up and move on to the next, move on into the new? It's almost like, I always give this example. It's kind of a weird example, but I think it works. It's almost like you live in a small town and there's some guy that was in the war and he was a hero in the war. And he's still wearing his freaking uniform. And it's 30 or 40 years later, and all he wants to tell you is the story about how he went up the hill. It's like, yeah, okay. What a yawn. Tell me a new story. Tell me a new story. It's like, your whole identity is wrapped up in that. And then, maybe one day somebody else will come and say, actually, I was the one who went up the hill. Right? It's like to hang all of our sense of all of our emotional I don't know, for on what once was. That's not living in reality. And we want you to live in reality. We want you to have a new direction and hope and inspiration to yourself and to others. And this is blessings. The blessing of today, the blessing of the balance, right? This is about balance. The blessing of the balance. Yeah. Don't worry, your intuition is super duper strong. Don't worry. And you can establish something new and because you're listening. But I think it's really important for like the stuff that's not working and that's not, and then stopped working and that, maybe worked at one time and isn't working anymore. It's like holding on to a toaster. It doesn't work anymore. What do you, eventually you'll burn the house down, like if the toaster doesn't work anymore, throw it away. Throw it away. What are you hanging on to? Like that's the, right? Another 5. So it's going to be a year of big changes, man, or woman. I have 3 5s. I have 3 5s. You know what it feels like this is the year to finally let go of all that didn't work, all that was disappointing, all that's gone. It's like, bless it and let it go. I'm getting a vision of, like, you know how the Hindus light the fire and they put it out on the river. I'm getting that, and like, let the river take it. Let the river take it, and then get on with the rest of your life. I'm really getting that, because when we carry around old feeling, like, we don't get to live in the day. We don't get to live in the now. We don't get to experience the joy of the now, you know. And it's from the now that you can create something new, not from this lamentation of, if only, the man that got away and all that. I feel like there's this real opportunity to end that cycle and begin a new one. And once you, and then I get this one and this one. Yeah, beautiful. Actually, it could be a really um, expansive. Um, I don't even know how to say it. It's like a rebirth, like a rebirth. Like, that's what I'm really getting. It's like a rebirth. But first, you have to bury the old. We all go through phases like this. I'm a Scorpio. I go through it once a week. So if I could do it, you could do it. All right. Blessings.